Can you believe Jesus didn't know his name was Jesus when he was on earth? When the Romans took over the church, they translated his Hebrew name into Greek as Isis. Then Isis became Jesus in Latin and in English. The sounds and vibrations that words create certainly carry meaning. So the implications of changing a word that is whispered through meditation and prayer into the collective ether every day causes the frequency to vibrate at a less unified state than it should have. I gotta ask, why would a church do so, especially when his real Hebrew name, Yeshua, means salvation? Yeshua. Another interesting item the church helped promote was the globe. Before the 1500s, almost all civilizations, religious doctrine, and scientific text had the earth as flat and stationary, as it is described in Psalms 93. The world is established that it cannot be moved, and in Psalm 104, who laid the foundations of earth, that it should not be removed forever? Or in Chronicles 16, the world shall be stable, that it should not be moved, and it's enclosed by God's firmament, described many times in Genesis. So why did the church sponsor astronomers like Copernicus and Galileo to promote their heliocentric model, then export it to the world through its missionaries and colonies? Suddenly, we were no longer at the center of God's creation and became mere accidents on a spinning rock in an infinite vacuum of chaos. And as for God, God was relegated to being somewhere out there in the void of space. Well, it may seem like a harmless update to change the name of the Messiah or surface of Earth, but it has deeper subconscious implications. Today, many people believe in Jesus, aka Yeshua, but it seems they do not believe Jesus. Let me say that again. People believe in the word Jesus rather than believe the words of Jesus. In John 14, Jesus says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, he that believeth in me and the works which I do, he will do also, and even greater works than these he shall do." Christ expected us to listen and harness the same power he was teaching, not outsource our responsibility and connection to God to a church. Similarly, we outsource our perception of the very ground we stand on to a so-called expert who tells us to disregard our own logic and perceptions of reality. Behold, the kingdom of God is within you, Luke 17. Not in a temple, not in a textbook, not in a government program like NASA, which means to deceive in Hebrew. He said within you. We were given warning in the book of Timothy where it is said, "Timothy, guard the deposit entrusted to you. Avoid the irreverent babble and contradictions of what is falsely called science." Jesus came here to teach us of the power we have to manifest, heal, and connect directly with our Creator. But the church teaches us to outsource our connection with God to either Jesus or an expert in the church, similarly to how the education system taught us to outsource our perception of the environment to experts without question. Since we didn't question, they have turned God's divine creation into a false theater of Masonic space propaganda while they laugh at you and corrupt every institution, your mind, and your soul. These parasites are now building a dangerous intelligence to enslave under their commands that will fortify the lies that have enslaved our own mind. And Satan rules with fear and suffering through deception. Only fools look at nature's perfect order and think chaos. They're counting on our ego to be too fragile to admit we've been deceived. But what if we remember who we truly are? Divine beings made in the image of God at the center of existence, and work toward harnessing the power Jesus died to teach us. It's time to wake up, beautiful people. Cosmologically and spiritually, it's up to us to remember we're divine and loved.